Hayes, Entertainment.
Ryan Hayes and Big Mike are taking over the podcast scene in Vancouver. Get down or lay down. Lay down.
And it's Mara going the other way with Strudwick to the net. He scores. Jason Strudwick, a defenseman again, scores the goal. 2 from Rosa.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I'm Ryan, by the way.
Hey, right on, man. Cool. Anytime.
So what you up to these days?
I do a radio show every day on TSN radio, and then I've got 3 kids, so my wife is pretty busy. So I'm homeschooling extraordinaire, and then I try to keep them busy.
Sounds like busy days.
Oh fuck, it's long days. Yeah, it's good. You get so much time with them, so it's great. Yeah, I can't complain.
Just want to give you the heads up. You're allowed to swear and have a drink if you like during this podcast.
All right.
We got a little thing. We got a little thing that every time we say we take a little drink.
Okay, nice.
So
nice. You want up here really quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, sweet boys.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
What was the feeling like getting drafted 63rd overall in '94 to the Islanders? And where were you?
So it was a bit of a surprise. I was, I think I was ranked, it was a lot different than, the Hockey News published one ranking. It wasn't a lot of, people talking about it. But I was ranked, I think, 5th round. And I happened to get drafted in the 3rd round. We won the Memorial Cup that year, so it was huge. So I didn't go to the draft. My agent said, I don't think you're going to get drafted that early, so don't go. And I was like, yeah, I was really naive. I was like, yeah, no problem. I'll just stay home. So I stayed home, and the draft was in Hartford. I got a call here in Edmonton. I was sleeping. It was like 8 in the morning with the time change. It was 10 o'clock there. They're like, you just got drafted. I'm like, what? And I couldn't believe it in the 3rd round. And I remember we were all excited. I don't think we really understood it. We were really naive. We didn't really, hockey-wise. I just played because I loved it. So I was really lucky. And it was that was the moment I realized I could actually maybe play in the NHL. Before that, I was just playing to hopefully play for U of A, the Golden Bears hockey team, after I was done junior.
Hartford's the team you played your first NHL game against as well.
Ironic, both places, had a pretty big impact. Both the city, now there's not even a league there anymore, or a city that team's on the league. But yeah, you know what? The first game was really special. You work so hard and you put in time, and it's the first time you really get to test yourself against NHL players. And I remember, I think when I walked out of there, I was like, I can do this. There's some things I have to work on, but I'm not that far away. And, some of the other players, they, like Pat Flatley, our captain, and a couple of other guys said the same thing. And, I always remembered that when I got older to say to guys, like, you're close, like, you're so close, don't give up right now. And I'm not talking about like the Connor McDavid's of it. I'm talking about the guys like me, the middle of the lineup, bottom of the lineup guys. Like, don't stop. Like, you're so close. And when you're kind of near the middle or bottom of the lineup, you're gonna get kicked in the nuts a lot. So you gotta just take it and just keep going, because eventually you will get there. But I've seen a lot of players kind of tap out when it gets a little hard, or they don't get the answers they want or the results they want. You just got to stay with it.
What's the biggest difference between obviously playing for the Blazers and going to the NHL?
Well, in junior, I was so big, and I was a pretty good skater, but I could just physically toss guys around. There were very few guys that were as big as me or strong. And then I got to the NHL, and all of a sudden, everyone is as big and way stronger and faster. So I was like, I've got to get this body moving a little more. I was always in good shape, but you kind of gotta, your junior body doesn't work anymore. And especially then, the kids now work out a lot more and they're a little more physically ready. But sometimes, you're not a man when you're 18 or 19 or 20. I didn't really feel like I was really my man strength till probably 23, 24. Then you start figuring it out. So it takes time.
He's almost 35 and he's still waiting for his man strength.
Yeah. Well, for some people, it never comes.
He never got his growth spurt. Yeah. That's why he plays Div 10.
Yeah, well, it's better than Div 11.
They told me in elementary school my growth spurt was coming, so I'm waiting for it.
I'm sure that'll get you right up to Div 7.
We want to know about this Ojic trade. You coming to Vancouver?
I didn't think I was going to get traded, and like I said, I just played because I loved it. I didn't have really an agenda. I was a team guy, and I just loved playing. Playing. I couldn't believe I was playing the NHL. So the phone call, we played in Edmonton the night before my first game ever at home, and I had so many family and friends watching. It was amazing. And then we go to fly to Vancouver. I remember two of my best buddies. They're like, do you think you'd get traded? I'm like, why would I get traded? I just got here. And so we landed. An hour later, we're in our hotel, and there's a phone call. And it's Mike Milbury. He's like, thanks for everything, Strudwick. We just traded you to Vancouver. I'm like, what? And so I hang up with him. 2 seconds later, phone rings. Mike Keelan here. We're so happy to got you. Be downstairs in 20 minutes. We're going to take you for a press conference, take you to no hotel. So, within landing, within 3 hours, I had been traded, changed teams, and in a new hotel. And my head's spinning. So I have to call my mom and dad. I'm like, hey, how are you guys doing? I just got traded to Vancouver. They're like, what? I couldn't believe it. And, then for Gino, and I knew Gino was a huge fan favorite. Like I wasn't, dumb enough not to recognize that, he was a huge part of this community or of that community. But I was like, I got to fight this guy. I got to get you got to make an impression, and it's a little harder when you're not a goal scorer to make an impression. But I'm like, I'm going to fight this guy. And I knew I was going to lose. I mean, everyone in the world knew I was going to lose that fight, but it didn't matter. And, it was probably the best thing I could have done because all of a sudden my teammates are like, holy geez, like this guy, he's duking it out with Gino. Then the fans are like, well, this guy's actually going to stand in there. And I try to make you got to make a good first impression as a hockey player. And, I thought it worked out, that was probably, like, honestly, like I said, it was the best thing that could have happened. And I fought him and, the rest was history. I was there 4 or 5 years after that.
I was told, I'm not sure if it's true or not, that's why I'm asking, but I was told that Gino had said that I knew I was going to get traded in my career, but I didn't know I was going to get traded for a nobody.
Yeah, I was pissed. And, I got it. Like on the human level, I got it. But you don't get to the NHL or that level by not having an ego. And I'm not chirping all the guys and everything. But when he said that, I was pissed. So I'm like, I'm fighting this guy for sure, and I know I'm going to lose. But so I actually said to him, I said, "Hi, my name's Jason Strudwick," and then we fought a few shifts later. But, so after the game, when the media said, "No, why'd you fight Gino?" I said, "Because he didn't know who I was, so I thought I'd introduce myself." And I did. It worked out well. Like, I'm not a violent guy, but it was, you have to, when you come to a new team, you have a very small window to make a new impression. And that just kind of set the tone for me there in Vancouver.
Who was your favorite teammate in Vancouver?
Oh, there were so many. I love being a Canuck. Like I loved the team, and I loved that I was kind of just there when it just started to kind of improve. Mike was there, then Mark Crawford came in. Todd Bertuzzi and I were roommates for 4 years on the road, and I loved I loved every minute of seeing that guy growing and becoming an absolute beast. Marcus Naslund was a great guy. Adrian O'Coin, I still am in touch with him quite often. Mark Messier was my idol. And I learned so much from him just about being a pro and the way you handle yourself. And I was really lucky. Like there were so many great people there. And it was when I didn't resign, I was really upset. Like getting traded from the Islanders, I didn't care. I was like, yeah, whatever. But Vancouver, I grew up there. I became an AHLer there, and it was hard. It was a really hard thing. And I wasn't like upset or anything. I was just kind of sad. And I moved on to a place I thought I'd get some more opportunity. But the Sedins were good guys.
I was going to say, what's it like playing with the Sedins?
Yeah, they were great. They were such good, and they came in kind of little. They were really in NHL shape and chubby little Swedes, but they they figured it out, and you knew they were going to be special, but I didn't know they were going to get that special. But they were great. Like just all the it was just a great experience, and I loved the city, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, we loved having you. Your cousins with the Niedermayers. Did you have a lot of pressure of that growing up?
You know what? I often say if they hadn't been my cousins, I would have made it to the NHL. Like those two guys, they were on a mission. Like they were on a mission to make the NHL. I mean, they would do 8 weeks of hockey school in the summer. I would do one, and like, I remember that when we became teenagers, the first time I saw them, they were just like ripped and in good shape and running all over the place. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I really had to kind of pick my game up. And so I started running all the time too, and, working out and not even really knowing what to do. Like, it's not like now where everyone and their dog's a trainer, or on YouTube, you can go find all these workouts. Right. So I just ran. I was like Forrest Gump, just running everywhere. And then I'd do box jumps and push-ups and pull-ups, and it helped me because I just got in better shape than everybody else. And then it made me probably look better than I actually was. Then they kind of helped me a little bit with skating, but just having those two guys to kind of like seeing someone who's a really good player and you're around them, it makes such a difference. You don't know what the level you have to get to when you're not around, greatness. Right. And so,
Did you guys live close? Like, did you get to play with them much growing up?
No, they lived in BC, so no. But we'd go to hockey schools, not so much as Scotty, but with he was a little bit too good and too old. But Rob and I went to a couple of hockey schools together, and we skated a bit in the summer. But I just remember thinking that if that's how good I have to get, I've got so far to go. So they were shooting pucks, I'd shoot pucks. My dad their aunt would tell them what they're doing, and my dad would just tell me, I'd go do it. So, it was good. I was so lucky to have them as cousins, and, they had great careers. So they had better careers. I was better looking, but, whatever.
Yeah.
Long term, I'm probably better off, right?
Yeah.
Who was your favorite sports hero growing up?
Well, I love Michael Jordan, obviously. Then growing up in Edmonton, Mark Messier was my idol. Bob Probert. I like the hockey players that played with a little edge, and not necessarily fighting, but just kind of, taking care of your own business and not getting pushed around. So Luke Richardson, Wendell Clark, Bob Probert, Mark Messier. I like those guys. It's just kind of this is my house. If you're going to come in here, you better be ready to rumble.
You could toss them and had lots of good fights, but what's your most memorable?
It's funny. It's, when I was done playing, someone told me I had 100 regular season fights, and I almost fell out of my chair. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. It didn't seem like that many. And that's not like Bob Probert, who had 500, but it's a lot. And I never thought I was a guy as a fighter, but I always wanted to make sure I could take care of myself and my teammates. I remember the one I got my ass kicked. Reed Lowe beat the wheels off me. But what's funny is I didn't really, he didn't beat me up to the point where I was knocked out, but I couldn't catch up. It was it's kind of like I was drunk and you're wrestling with someone who isn't, and you're just always a step behind. I just couldn't kite. What is this guy doing? And I was either too dumb or too prideful to go down, and I refused to go down. And I never fought him after that. I think I was I had enough, but it was the funniest thing. I've watched the fight a few times since, and I just could not. It was unreal. I'm like, what is this guy doing? What kind of voodoo does this guy have on me?
We might have him as a possible guest coming up, Reed Lowe.
Oh yeah, just ask him about it. He had to be one of the easiest fights he ever had.
I should know this fact, but did you ever go Brad May?
No, we played together in Van, and then I loved Maisie. He was one of my favorite, and we still connect every now and then. And
he's such a beauty to meet in person too, man. He'll sit there, talk to us, bullshit with us for 45 minutes.
He's a
drink a couple of pints. Yeah.
We've been trying to get May on as well recently. We've been talking to each other because we ran into him a few times, like Mike said there.
Oh yeah. He's a great guy. Great human.
He tells a lot of stories. We had Clint Malarchuk on the other day that liked to tell a few stories.
Oh yeah.
We had Kelly Rudy on last night, and a couple of good stories out of it. We love hearing the NHL stories.
There's some great guys. Those are all great guys.
What'd you think of the city living here?
Oh, Van, I loved it. I love being there like that. I just, it was such a great city. I remember, I think it was after Mark Crawford's first full year there. And it was after the season. I was always in shape or whatever, but we have our year-end meeting, and he brings me and he's like, we had a good year. Everything's good. He's like, what are you doing this summer? I'm like, I'm going home and I'll work out. He's like, really? He's like, well, we want you to stay here and work out and playing golf tournaments. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll just go home and work out. He's like, well, do you like being a Vancouver Canuck? I'm like, I do. He's like, then I'll see you June 1st here in Vancouver. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'm spending the summer in Vancouver. So I lived there in the summertime. I rented a place with Josh Holden. And, and we had an unbelievable time. We worked out at 8 rinks every morning. And then, we may have gone out a couple nights,
a couple Roxy nights
a week, but it was so much fun. Like I loved it. And I played in, oh my God, I don't know how many golf tournaments I played in there, but that summer, but met a lot of people. I remember I bought a mountain bike and I'd ride that thing all over the place. I ride it like all day long. And it's just a great city. Go to the beach, whatever. Like it's one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen. I absolutely loved it there.
What was your favorite song to listen to pregame?
Oh man, I'm into the rock. Like we had a lot of stuff. I love like just you get yourself jacked up like AC/DC or Motley Crue or all those kind of things. At that time, what is that guy? Matt Good band. They were pretty big.
Good Coquitlam kid, just like us.
Yeah, I think it was Matt Good, right? I saw him in concert a couple times there. It was pretty cool. So yeah, those were. I mean, but I'd play some of the music, but the other guys, they I remember Brian McCabe loved putting it all on. His was really heavy music, but I was a little more on the like not quite so angry. I was more like Metallica, AC/DC, stuff like that.
Did you have any pregame rituals or pregame meals?
I ate the same thing every day. Every single pregame I had always like chicken, pasta, and veggies, all like a third on the plate. It was always the same, with a Diet Coke every time. It was like never failed. Pregame rituals. I just did the same thing every time, and it wasn't like it was I didn't need to do it, but it's just how I got ready. Like it was just your routine, right? And because people always ask, well, that's, isn't that a superstition? I'm like, no, that's just how you do it. Like, do you change your order the way you get up every morning? Like, do you get up, then brush your teeth and shower? Some days do you shower and brush your teeth and comb your hair? Like, that's just the routine you have. And I do always, like, I do about 10 minutes of not meditation, but just a visualization of what I was going to do that night, and maybe players I'd see it in one-on-one, or maybe a fight, or I'd always envision myself scoring a goal. So it didn't always happen, but it was that's just the way you do it, your routine.
Was there like one guy that you just absolutely hate playing against?
There's some, like the really quick guys like Paul Correa. It was embarrassing. Like he was like, you just fly around you. You're just standing still. Like, this is just change. I don't want to be out here with this guy. Like the really fast guys, I didn't like. The bigger guys, like Joe Thornton, I didn't mind, or Eric Lindros, or like Dingman. Those big guys, I didn't mind them because they weren't that fast, and they want to be muscular. They wanted to fight you, like push you around. But the quick guys, good God, like it was. I remember Paul Correa. He one time spun me around so quick. I was like, "This isn't happening. I think I need to change."
Who do you wish watched you perform every game?
Who do I wish watched me play?
Yeah, every game.
If I could have anyone, well, you know what? My grandpa, my mom's side, he died. I was in like I was pretty young, like maybe grade 7 or 8. And my grandpa was the biggest hockey fan. Like my grandpa would have gone crazy if he would have known I'd make the NHL. He loved hockey. And actually his favorite team was the Blackhawks. When I played for the Blackhawks, I was pretty excited to think he was watching, but he would have just loved it. He would just thought it was amazing. But you know what? I was great. My mom and dad watched me all the time. They came to visit once or twice a year. My sister and, then her husband came, and I think being a part of the NHL is that it's so cool to bring other people in to see it. I'd always taken tours of our dressing room and all that stuff. Like my buddies would come, especially in Vancouver. God, I'd have people there every other weekend. But it was awesome. Like they just thought it was so neat, and I would have too. They got to meet like the guys. And it was I have to say it was pretty neat. Like that part was pretty cool.
And what was it like playing in Europe?
Oh, I loved it. I love to travel. Like I love to play around.
Did you get paid?
Yeah, you get paid. Yeah, you get paid to go there. Yeah. No, Russia.
No. I was just saying that because you always hear on the news that they're like 2 years behind paying the players.
No, I went to really good teams that were like financially set. In Russia, though that's a whole different place. But no, in Sweden and Hungary was unreal. Budapest is an unbelievable city. It was hilarious. I remember
I am Hungarian, actually.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I love it. Did you make chicken paprikash?
Oh yeah.
It's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. I remember one night I went to a bar in Budapest. I was there with my cousin during the lockout. And, I spoke French. And so we're just sitting at the bar having a couple of drinks. Our teammates are all in there. And this huge wrestler, he looked like Bam Bam Bigelow. He was sort of a huge bouncer. He looked like the wrestler. He had shaved and he had flames tattooed in his hair. And this guy kept looking at me. I'm like, and it was like a lot of Russians in Budapest, right? And this guy, I'm like, holy shit, this guy's going to want to fight me. I know it.
We got to get out of here. Yeah.
So he's looking at me, finally comes over and he's huge. He's like, he's got to be my size, but probably another like 100 pounds. And he looks at me, he starts talking to me in Russian. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. And then he starts Hungarian. I'm like, no. So he looks at me, he starts talking to me in French. I'm like, holy shit. So I start talking to this guy in French and he recognized me. He's a huge hockey fan. He's from Russia. And he's like, buddy, if there's any problems, you come and find me. I'm like, oh, don't you worry. I'll come and find you. We could like kill everyone in this bar 5 times over. And so we go back there and we see him and he was the nicest guy. But I was like, for sure, I thought he was going to, like, it wasn't going to be a fight. He was just going to beat me up. Like, it wasn't a fight, right? And the nicest guy. And I was there for 2.5 months and we probably saw him 10 times. He was always like, hey, Struddy, salut, comment ça va? I'm like, hey, good, buddy. Like, I'm talking to him in French. It was amazing. So great place, Budapest. Great.
That's why I keep him around too, as my bodyguard.
Yeah, we all need one.
I'm like 5'5", 140 pounds, and this guy's like 6'3", like 230.
Yeah, you need a big friend. We all need big friends.
He's not that big. I'm just busting his balls.
I'm bigger than that, actually. Did you try Hungarian moonshine while you were down there? Palinka?
Yeah. We had that Palinka. Yeah, we had goose. What's it? Goose liver.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The first night before our first game, they made us. It was just you've seen it, toasted bread with goose liver.
Pate. Yeah.
We had the goose liver cut on there, and then onions on top. That's all we had the night before, and a bunch of wine, and we didn't play very well. And they're like, why aren't you guys playing better? We're like, fuck, we didn't eat anything last night. Anything good? Like, we're playing on onion and goose liver. And, so that was the last time. After that, we started eating better. But it was so much fun. Like, I loved being there. And we just loved it. It was a great place.
Struds, we can't thank you enough, man, for doing this today. We appreciate it.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime, yeah.
We'd love to have you on again if we could.
We're trying to line it up so we have like a couple ex-Canucks. Like, we're trying to get Scatcherd and a couple other guys.
Okay, yeah. If it works out, yeah, let me know.
All right. Thank you very much, man. Have a good night.
Good night. Yeah, you guys take it easy, boys.
Hey, cheers.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you, boys. See you later. Bye-bye. Okay, boys. Nice.